Hello, and welcome to The Potential State. My name is Dr. Assael Romanelli, and today I want to talk about I don't understand as a buffer for connection. Recently, I've been hearing I don't understand more and more in the clinic and in my personal life around emotional or relational issues. Suddenly, someone just doesn't understand. I don't understand what you're saying. I don't understand what you're talking about. And it's come to, I have this thought cooking up, this thesis that I don't understand is actually a very effective defense mechanism. It's actually a buffer from intimacy or from connection or for responsibility. And I want to explain why. So when somebody says to you, when you're talking, I'm not talking about academic or intellectual discussions where you don't understand a certain concept. I'm talking about more in the relational world, in the emotional world. When someone says to you something about the way you're behaving in that relationship or something they're feeling or a realization they have about this relationship, and you say, I don't understand. Now, why would people do that? Okay? I'm assuming that most people are intelligent enough to understand when someone says to them something like, you're belittling yourself, or I don't understand why you keep, oh, I don't understand, or you keep coming late, you're being passive aggressive, and the person says, I don't understand what you're talking about. So why do people do that? So in my mind, I don't understand is kind of a restart. Like we've built something together, I say I don't understand, and I'm restarting it, everyone to their corner. Once again, it lowers the temperatures, lowers the connections, almost like I call this a smoke screen. I say I don't understand, and then we're back to square one, and everything you've told me up until now is deleted. Deleted because I didn't like it, deleted because I don't know how to deal with it. So I just say I don't understand. The gains I get when I say I don't understand is that it's an elegant way to disagree. So instead of saying I'm offended by what you're saying, or I'm angry at what you're saying, or I can't believe you think that about me, I'm going to elegantly disagree by saying I don't understand. And once again, you gain time. So if you're saying I don't understand, the other person needs to start repeating what they just said, even though you kind of do understand. But you're gaining time, you're stalling. And meanwhile, while you're stalling, you can start thinking about, okay, so what am I going to say? How am I going to react? How am I going to defend against this attack? Right? It's another elegant way to avoid conflict. So if someone is saying to me something very aggressive, or that something about my behavior is very nasty, so I say I don't understand, and that way we're kind of avoiding conflict, because if I would have said I do understand and I purposely do that, okay, then we would have to step into the crucible. And a lot of us don't want to do that, so we just say I don't understand. And one more secondary gain from that, it makes the other feel good. Because there's two ways I can say I don't understand. I can say I don't know what you're talking about, and that from a one down position, right? From a low status one down position, and then that makes the other person feel good about themselves. They feel smart and intelligent, and they want to repeat themselves. Because people like to repeat themselves, right? Especially if you make them feel interesting. Or I can go from I don't understand from one up position, like I don't understand what you're talking about. AKA, this is ridiculous, or you're petty. Or why are you even raising this? I don't even understand. I'm so beyond that. So there's two versions. There's the low status with the one down, I don't know, and the high status is I don't know, I don't understand. I don't understand what you're talking about. But what's the price you pay for that? So over time, if you choose to take out the card of I don't understand, you'll be paying a price. The first price is it's keeping you small. You don't understand things. You don't understand things, that makes you kind of reactive. And the second you don't understand, two things will happen. So either the other person is going to go high status, one up, and start explaining you things, assuming you don't understand, which belittles you and makes them feel good, but actually makes them appreciate you less. Or in the other instance, if somebody that's a one up, I don't understand, then people will stop bidding. They'll stop talking to you. Because you seem to not understand very important things about our relationship, about our marriage, about our friendship, about our parenting. You just don't understand. So you know what? Forget it. And what happens is over time, this creates an atmosphere where actually people are unconsciously feeling or subconsciously feeling that you're untouchable. No point coming close to you because you don't understand when the stakes get high. So you win the battle, you lose the war, because people, like no conflict, you can elegantly disagree, but then people don't want to get close because you don't understand. And I want to give a few examples how this manifests in interactions, and then I'll give some practical tips. The first example is a couple I worked with a few years ago, that even though she was older than him, she was basically a stay-at-home mom. And something about their whole dance was refer back to the money. He was making the money, and she felt like she needed to justify why she's at home. But beyond that, there was this, every time we spoke about something or I explained something, she would say, I don't understand. I don't understand what you're talking about. In the beginning, I would repeat myself, but after a while I said, wait, this is the same dance you're doing. You're feeling little and you're belittling yourself by saying you don't understand. I think you do understand. She was a very intelligent woman, very talented woman. So after calling her out a few times, she could slowly catch herself and saying, yeah, I do understand. I do. Okay, because instead of substitute I don't understand with I disagree, with I'm offended, with I'm scared, with I'm surprised, with I'm embarrassed. The second you can say that, then the person next to you is feeling, oh, this person's with me, we can go, we can build somewhere. This person is not belittling themselves by saying I don't understand. So that's one example, and it took a few weeks actually. And slowly what she would say, can you speak slower because you speak fast? Because that was one of the things, right? But the other one was she would say, I understand and I don't agree. And the second she switched over to I don't agree, we're in a different location, we're in a different space, we're in a different discussion. And slowly we're balancing out the discussion between these two partners. Because what she was doing with me, she does with her husband for 15 years, right? So if she says, I don't understand with me, she for sure does it with her husband as well. I don't understand what you're talking about. I don't understand. So then over time, he's thinking, well, my wife is just not intelligent. She doesn't get these things. So if she doesn't get these things, well, then no point telling her about it because I don't want to be her teacher. I want to be her partner. Okay? So she takes, I don't understand from a defense mechanism, but over the years, it kind of whiplashes and she's getting, this becomes her jail. That becomes something that just makes her look small and not smart. Another example is a different couple I was working with, and he kept not understanding when it was about her pain. So his wife would say something about her pain, he'd say, I don't understand what you're talking about. I don't understand what you're talking about. And over time it became clear that he doesn't want to understand because he's not present, because he doesn't want to understand. Because if he really understood his wife's pain, then he would have to actually face himself and either own his shit and realize that part of that pain is connected to his behavior, or he wouldn't be able to, keep being oblivious to being married to a woman that is bitter and angry at him. So he'd rather say, I don't understand. That connects me to another client who wanted to talk about the conflicts between his wife and his daughter. But what he didn't understand was what was really apparent is that their marriage was basically dead. And he refused to see that. So he kept saying to me, I don't understand. What are you saying? And I would say it again. And he would say, I don't understand. It took me a few sessions until I realized he does understand, but he doesn't really want to understand, or at least admit it. Because if he'd admit it, at least first of all to himself, but then to me, then the whole discussion would be different. Then he would understand what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is him finally engaging with his wife, finally opening up what's been happening for the past 20 years and letting go of their daughter who's being triangulated this whole time and becoming the center of the drama because they don't want to talk about what's happening there. And once I called him on it, he smiled. He still didn't say that he understood, but at least we took one step forward. I said, stop saying you don't understand. I think you do understand, but you don't want to fully let that land. Because if that lands, then you won't be able to keep living your life and saying, I'm doing everything possible. Because then you'd have to face up to your own shadow and all the places that you're not engaging with your life. All the places that you're not honest with yourself and your wife. So there's a high price of understanding. But over time, it is better to understand and burn, understand and cry, understand and get angry, understand and have a rupture, than to feel safe and not understood. Because over time, people will stop explaining to you. And I'll give one example from my personal life, which I've spoken about before, with my mom not understanding these new projects. I'll do this thing and she says, I don't understand. I'm performing in this performance, I don't understand. And it took me a while to realize that she does understand. But it's hard for her to see me grow. It's hard for her to see me break through to another threshold, to another circle, to another concept. So she goes, I don't understand. And if at the beginning I tried explaining it to her, today every time she says it, I say, you do understand. It might be difficult for you, but you got it. You got it. You understand. So for all those people out there that are listening to me right now and you're not understanding what I'm saying, you do understand. You get it. And now I'm going to give you some tips how to better understand and choose differently instead of the good old joker, which is, I don't understand. So the first thing is reflect on that. See, do you say that a lot? Do you find yourself saying, I don't understand? Or are you someone in your life keeps saying that to you the second it gets hot or tense? Think about that. Choose one relationship where you feel invested enough that you want to try something else, and safe enough that you can try something else. And then next time it gets hot and you want to say, I don't understand, or you said it, immediately stop and try to replace it with the following text. I don't agree. I'm scared. I'm offended. I'm surprised. I'm hurt. I'm angry. I'm pissed off that you even dare to say that to me after what you did to me yesterday. Or I'm shocked, right, that you even think that. But I understand you. Or I understand you and I'm sorry. Or I understand you and I'm taking responsibility for that. Or I understand you and I want to stay close and understand. Or even say the thing. You can say, I'm trying to understand this, but something in me is kind of a little bit blocked. So say this to me again. I think the point is to stay close and stay present. A lot of times, if I remember this as being a client many years in therapy, my therapist would say something to me and I wouldn't understand or I wouldn't remember it. And I realized over time that's actually a way of my unconscious to protect me against something I don't want to hear or I'm not ready to hear. So I'm inviting you, if that happens to you, so stay close. Instead of saying I don't understand, saying I want to understand, like I want to feel this more. I want to let this land. Repeat yourself, please. And stay close with me. Like try to explain that. Like say the thing. Open it up. Say it, and stay close. And take a chance to say, I think I understand what you're saying. Are you saying that 1, 2, 3, 4? I understand what you're saying, and I'm very emotional because of that right now. So give me a second to collect my thoughts. I understand. I get it. I get you. This makes sense. You make sense. You care. That's why you're saying these things to me, and I'm here. I'm not piecing out. I'm not running away. I understand, and I'm close. If you could hold that tension, hold that crucible, then what's going to happen is your relationships are going to get deeper and hotter and more real. And like the saying says, do it trembling, but do it. Start understanding what is happening in your marriage, in your parenting, in your family life, in your professional life, with your colleagues. What's the reality of what's happening here? Start understanding that. And when people give you feedback, whether it's positive, which is easier to understand, or constructive, which is harder to understand, start faking it, at least in the beginning, and saying, I get it. I understand why you're saying this. And if I need, I'll repeat it in my own words to make sure I understood it. And if I don't, they'll correct me. But I understand and I get it. So I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. In fact, I'm sure that you get it, that you understand this, because we all do this. We all use this defense mechanism sometimes. So let's start understanding and start owning up to our shit and get richer, more intimate, more hot, more real, more authentic, more differentiated relationships. My name is Dr. Assael Romanelli, and this was The Potential State. I'll see you next time.